Hello. Welcome
Hello.
back to Live. Say No Bounds Live. Sorry, I was going to say Live at 5 then. It's not Live 5. It's Say No Bounds Live. We are joined for a series of episodes starring the amazing, all the way from Italy, Christine Michaelis. Christine, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks everyone for watching.
I'm
lovely.
so excited about these subjects today because today's going to be about authentic self. And everybody talks about you've got to be authentic, you've got to be yourself, you've got to be this. But it's not that easy, is it? So we're going to dive straight into it, I think. So within marketing, how can we make sure that we are being authentic? What's your
Yes, I think
example?
it's really, like you said, it's really difficult to find out actually who we are. And you need to do that first before you actually can be who you are and can be your authentic self. So I'm just going to talk a bit more about that and why, first of all, I think it's so important to be authentic. So if you're not authentic, if you're not yourself, I think people will feel that. So when you talk to people, when you do your marketing activities, or maybe not, maybe they see your marketing and they think, hey, what a person, what a great person. Everyone is forming that kind of picture about you. But then when they meet you, they're like, oh, it's not at all what I thought, because maybe you just showed things that are not truly representing who you actually are. And also it will make everything so much easier if you are yourself. And that is asking for a lot of confidence actually. But if you're not yourself, you have to pretend all the time, and not only will the other people feel that something's off, but you will have to always think about, oh, what did I say to that person, and who was I at that event, and how did I behave here? So I think this is just a bit of a why you should do that. And I think everyone has their own USP, as they call in marketing, but I like to call it unicorn special power. So everyone is unique the way they are, and everyone is lovely the way they are. And I think people need to understand that. And a lot of times people also have difficulties, though, finding out who they are. So I want to give them a couple of questions maybe that they can ask themselves that might help them to figure out who they are, because sometimes it's easier to figure out who you're not. So you can start with that if you like. So what's not important to you? Who do you think you're really not? You can always ask friends and family, so people that are close to you, how they would describe you, maybe in one word. That's an interesting exercise. I've done that as well. Lovely things coming out, hopefully. And then basically think about situations where you are 100% yourself, where you feel that's me. I don't have to pretend nothing. With whom and in what kind of situations is that? Take notes of that, because you need to really bring that to the forefront and really understand that's me. And in which situations do you feel you can't be yourself? And maybe you're reacting in a different way than you wanted. You didn't speak up when you should have or wanted. And again, it's not easy. I'm not saying these are like questions you write them down now whilst you're watching and you have the answers ready. It's discovering. And also we are changing over time. That's also really important to know. Once you understand who you are, and I also think that comes with age, of course, you
And
confidence.
Yeah, age,
Definitely
confidence.
Yeah.
It's funny because what you're talking about, as you were talking, I'm already thinking of a load of people in this category that do this, and you can group them together and basically call them startups, because startups think that they need to be something that they're not when they're going into business. So
Yes.
they try to do this performance, and what they end up doing is burning themselves out, rather than just going, actually, so this is who I am, and this is why my business is going to be run the way it's going to be run. And if there are certain areas that you are not good at, then there are tools out there to help you get it right.
Which is all the tips that you can
Absolutely.
get within.
Engineers are a big one for this.
Yeah.
Engineers are fantastic engineers, and they're like, just historically, they are rubbish salesmen because they're engineers.
It's a bit like chefs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked with enough chefs in my life, and they not usually very good at a business plan. I outsource that and be able to say to people that I need help with this, and that can come in so many different formats, can't it?
Yes, and that's completely okay, because not everyone knows everything. And when you start your own business, you have to all of a sudden. So that can be extremely overwhelming in itself, because all of a sudden you have to be an accountant, maybe a HR person, because you need to outsource something. You need to understand how websites work. You have to understand marketing. You have to understand sales. You have to do networking. You have to do all these things. And that's extremely overwhelming. And we're going to talk a bit more about that later on. However, you don't have to do it all. Yeah, you can start with one thing, and you need to find the thing where you feel that you are first maybe comfortable with. So we all know magic happens outside the comfort zone. However, don't start with something completely outside of your comfort zone that you don't even know how it works, because you will learn so much over time. I mean, I'm in entrepreneur, what a startup, whatever you want to call it, for 11 years now, and I'm still discovering things. I'm still learning. I'm still changing things around. And another thing is to really understand what motivates you. And that is also part of who you are, because we can be motivated by getting away from something. We can be motivated by getting towards something. So there's this towards to and away from motivation theory. And that can change from topic to topic. So some people that haven't started their business yet are maybe motivated by having their own business, or they're motivating by getting away from the job that they have at the moment. So, and once you figure out what motivates you, you can motivate yourself, because you can phrase your goals and you can phrase everything around that, a great vision board and all these things that and that use that. So if you know you want to get away from something, then you need to talk to yourself about that. And I know that people always say, oh, you have to state everything in a positive way. But sometimes the negative motivation, so getting away from something, is more effective than the other one. So that's another thing that goes into there.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of startups forget, why you're doing what you're doing, and that evolves with time as well. So I think it's something that you constantly need to revisit, because my goals for setting up what we set up have changed and evolved into something much bigger. So you need to reevaluate what makes it work, and what makes you want to get out of bed and do what you do.
Exactly. And exactly what you just said, it changes over time. And that's something really important to understand. You change as a person, the business changes, maybe because you wanted to change, maybe it's just evolving for something else, for other reasons, and maybe something outside of your control, outside in the world, is happening that makes you change the business. And that's okay. And that's also with marketing activities, and we talk about this more later on. But in all these ways, you need to try to know who you are, what's important to you, what are your values, what motivates you, and have that there and say, okay, if you have to do a business decision, is that aligning with my authentic self? No, don't do it. It's your business, it's your life. No one tells you have to do things. And then if it aligns with everything that you stand for and your authentic self, you can think about it and maybe give it a go.
I think you really touched on something quite significant there, like with everything else that you said. But the thing that stands out to me is your goal, your vision, and your values. And so many people, again, in business and mainly startups, will do things even though it's against their values, because they feel that they need to, because they need to get the money in. So they'll do stuff that's against their values. And we've done it.
Yeah, I think everyone you speak to will have done that at one point or another. And I think this comes down to social media and media opportunities as well. No. I was just going to say, because the other thing is, people will invest in you based on your values. Yeah.
Like, we've got people that work with us in Seen No Bounds, and they don't work with us in Seen No Bounds because necessarily it's just me and you. They work with us because they agree with our values.
Yeah.
And that actually stands. I never really understood that until someone said it to me the other day, and they said, we respect your values. And I was like,
Yes.
wow, like our values stand out higher than our actual own personalities. Our values stand out higher than that.
And they always will, because we always buy with purpose. So we always buy into the purpose of what that business does, and that's what makes us want to use that business in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. Right, listen, ladies, right? Somehow we have to end the show, and I'm worried that we're going to fall down a rabbit hole if we don't, right? So we are going to be back. We are going to do more shows. We got a couple more shows to do with Christine, so look out for those. But Christine, on this subject, your authentic self, right? If you were going to leave people with a single final message, I mean, I personally would see, be authentic to your values. I think is probably the best thing I've heard you say on this interview. But what would be your final top tip if you're going to leave just one thing behind?
So once you found all that out, make sure you communicate it, because people don't know you, people don't know your business. So it's a good thing to communicate your values and what you stand for in a clear and precise way. Have this on your website, talk about those. You can even create little marketing posts for social media around your values, one for each value, whatever you like. So that just know it for yourself, but then put it out there as well.
That's a top tip.
Actually, that's something that we should do as well as an organization.
And that's something that we've learned over time, which I would touch on, what I've mentioned about media, because you've got to find out everything that you said before you can communicate it. So really, really good way to end the show.
It is brilliant. So we have got to end the show. Don't go too far away, though, because we will be back with the wonderful Christine and a brand new subject. So we'll see you again shortly. Take care. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Cedar Bounds Live, where we're back with the amazing Christine and a brand new subject. But one thing I will talk about is, Christine, in the green room before we went live there, I seen you bobbing along to our tune.
I was.
By the amazing Jonathan. I can see you bobbing along.
I love it. I love the little tune. It's very catchy. But today it's all about authentic marketing. And we are going to talk about the basics of authentic marketing. And it couldn't be a better person to start that off. So over to you, Christine.
Yeah, we've got 12 points on this, I think, right? So, Christine, how do you want to do this? Should we just do like point? Oh, no. Let's start off with what is authentic marketing first. Let's do that.
Okay, so authentic marketing is basically marketing activities, and what marketing activities are we talk about in a second, because I would like to reframe that word because it's very scary for a lot of entrepreneurs. You do activities where you can be authentic and that match your values. So everything we talked about previously, that match your authentic self and that match your business values and don't go against what you believe in. So that's, in a nutshell, what I would say is authentic marketing.
Okay, cool. So we've got, and that makes sense, right? That really does make sense to us. So I know you've got 12 points that actually kind of sum this up, all right? Now, I can't count much before 10 because I run out of
counting on you at home.
All right, so I'm going to definitely need help. But let's start with point 1.
Okay, so before we do that, can I just say, because marketing, people are so afraid about marketing and what that actually is. It is telling people who you are, what you do, and why you do it. that's in a nutshell. So if you are at a networking event, even if you're an introvert and you have a one-to-one in the wonderful Get Connected groups or any other networking events that you guys are running, for example, what do? People ask you, what do you do? And you say what you do. That is already marketing, okay? And then you spread that into different channels. So just to take that up front and that fear away of this big thing, what is marketing, okay? Now, these are there's 10 principles, and I added 2, but these 10 principles I go through first were developed by Jürgen Wolf, who wrote Marketing for Entrepreneurs book years and years ago, but they're still valid. So I love them, and I always use them to create a marketing mindset so that people get into that. So the first one is it's all about benefits. Okay, people don't always want to only hear what it's about, what it is, and what the features are. They want to know, why should I use this? Why should I spend any money or if even time on this? There's so much information out there. You can get pretty much everything you want, 1 million different facets of it. And you need to outline the benefits of someone buying your products and services with time or with money. So that's the first one. It's all about benefits. And I always challenge everyone to come up with 100 benefits of their product. And there's a way to do that. Then 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, people might have heard about that. Get rid of the 80% that just give you 20% of the income, 20% of the signups, 20% of the clients, and focus on the 20% that get you 80% of the signups. So let's say you run some Google ads, and maybe you do networking, and you figure out, well, Google ads gives me actually, let's say you have 10 signups a month, just to make it easy. So 2 signups come from Google ads, but 8 come from networking. So why do you spend any money and time on Google ads and don't use that time and money to put into networking to then get more signups? So that would be the principle number 2. Number 3 is conduct an ongoing marketing campaign, whatever that looks like. Look at the big brands, Starbucks, McDonald's, whatever you want to look at. They run constantly campaigns. And it's not because they just have too much money, but it's, yeah, they do. But everyone knows them pretty much. Let's generalize here, but everyone knows who Starbucks is. So you would think, why would they still have to run ads? Why would they still have to have posters somewhere? Because people get invaded with information and they constantly have to be pushed into something, and they constantly need to see your brand to be reminded about that you exist. So that's number 3. Number 4, listen to everyone. So that's not only to experts and your ideal clients, as they say, that's to everyone who gives you feedback that is constructive. Take that in, evaluate if that's something you would have to look into or not. Sometimes it's great to talk to children, explain to them what you do and see what they ask you. It's great to also ask not children, but maybe other professionals.
We had this actually with a website about how to set up a website, and it was again, Danielle mentioned that put it in front of children. If they can work out within 30 seconds what you do from your website, they are a great tool to use for being able to see what you do, because we are so in it sometimes as business owners that we can't see the wood for the trees. So great.
Not sometimes, always. I think we're always in our own bubble, which is great, and we love what we do. But getting someone completely out of the industry, completely out of the age range as well, really gives lots of insights. Now we have be different. Okay, it's not enough anymore to offer similar things that others, because pretty much everything exists already. There might be new ways and there might be new things, but especially if you're looking at solopreneurs that have a service that they offer, you need to be different. And we're all different anyway, so we need to understand that we're all different in our own way. We have our personality, and that's why it's so important to understand who you actually are and understand your authentic self, coming back to what we said before. Test continuously. There's no reason why you should do anything in marketing without knowing the outcome. Okay, if you spend any money or time or something, so there's always people that boost like one post. Why do you do that? Always define, why do you actually do what you do, and what do you want to get out of it, and then see if it worked. If it didn't work, and that's going to the next tour actually. If it didn't work, so learning from failure, why did it not work? What do I have to do to adjust it? How can I avoid this in the future? And if it did work, learn from successes, which a lot of people forget. Why did it work? How can I take this into all the other things that I'm using, and how can I make this continuously working? So testing, learning from failures, learning from successes. Be flexible.
It's a really hard one with social media, especially, I think,
Yes.
because with social media, you can test, you can get the stats and all of that, but so on our page, the Scene of Bounds page, for example, on Facebook, you don't get a lot of interaction, but everywhere we go, people go, oh my gosh, I see you everywhere. You're always doing lives. You're doing this.
I know.
People coming up on the live on the stream, but they might not interact. So it's a really hard one, I think, on social media. But don't give up on that. I think it's
that's right.
You're seen even if you don't get interactions. But I think going out maybe and ask your people around you, what do you see? Do you see my content before you because I've had a lot of people going, oh, nothing's been seen, so I'm just going to give up. But it is being seen, I think. It's just finding out on how you can track it. So great point.
Yes. And then to just go through the last few is to be flexible. Things change, you change, the business changes. We talked about that before. But technology, I mean, it's developing. Everything's developing so fast. If someone tells you I stay up with everything that's happening in marketing or in technology, they're lying. It's impossible. It is impossible. It really is. And that's okay. And just keep in mind that you don't have to do it all. And just keep in mind that you don't have to jump on everything immediately once it comes out. Maybe evaluate if it's worth your effort or not. Try something. If it's not working, give up on it. But be flexible with the things that you're doing. And then the last 3 is know when to outsource. I think it's a really important point. As a solopreneur, usually it's not that we have a lot of money that we can spend, and that's usually what's keeping us, of course, from outsourcing things. However, if you think about it, let's say you want to create a website, you've never done anything like that, and you have to get your head around maybe WordPress, any other website building platforms that are out there, understand how it works, understand that there's pictures to be done, text to be written, there's certain things that you need to do, certain things that you can't do, certain legal things that come with that. To figure all that out might take you 3 months. And I'm talking about 3 months only doing that every day for 8 hours. But if you give that to someone, and there's affordable website builders depending on what you want. Of course, if you have a platform like you where you have also logins and stuff, that might be a bit different. However, if you just want to get started and you want to get like a landing page, a contact page, and something, this is what I offer page, then you can get that done easily, maybe by someone else.
And I think that's important to understand what you're going to use something for, and that doesn't just go for websites. It goes for everything with outsourcing. It's what is the outsourcing? What can that actually bring back into your business? Yeah. Like you were saying about the time frame. If you're spending 3 months doing that, well, you might have sold 3,000 products. So surely your time will be worth doing the 3,000 products and paying somebody else for the website.
Exactly. Time running out. So Christine, how many more we got? 2.
2 more, the ones that I added actually to them. So it's be authentic. And we talked about that. So I don't need to talk much more about it. And be mindful, because I think we can burn out quickly in trying too many things and not doing them well enough. Take one thing, do it well, feel comfortable with it, make it an automation, make it easy for you. And then you can move on to the next one. And that's it.
There's some really top tips in there. And I could to be honest with you, we are running out of time, and I'd love to pull out individual topics on that, but I can't. We could literally do a show on each one.
We'll be back.
So maybe that will happen. But I do have to, we do have to end the show. So I'm going to come back to Christine. I'm going to say, Christine, out of all of those, I think there was 11 or 12 of them, right? Out of all of those, what would you say is the most important one?
I wouldn't say there's a most important one, but if I would have to pick one, it's the benefits. Make sure you communicate the benefits, what's in it for them, because that's the one question everyone asks themselves before they spend any money or time on anything, subconsciously even.
Yeah, it is. It's
We all do
definitely.
it.
Yeah, we all do it, and I do it now. So listen, we do have to end the show, this part of the show, but we do have to say goodbye. Don't go too far though, because we will be back with the wonderful Christine talking about a brand new subject. And until then, we'll see you again shortly. Take care. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello. Welcome back. We're joined again in the studio by the amazing Christine, and we have a brand new subject. Charlotte, what is it?
Today we're going to talk. This is one of my favorite shows, favorite subjects. This is to be how to create an authentic network and community. What a fantastic!
Ladies,
subject.
we've got to try and keep this to 10 minutes, all right?
We're going to try.
So,
Welcome, Christine.
Yeah, welcome
Thank
back.
you.
I'm genuinely very, very excited. I mean, obviously, we run a network business, so this is very much at the soul of our values and our ethos and our authentic self is our network. But I'm really excited to listen to your take on this and how other people can create this. So this show is super important to us. So over to you. Just go, fire away. Otherwise, I won't go.
Okay, so I think I would like to start why I actually think this is important to talk about, because I think if someone would ask me, if I can do just one thing to market myself and my business, what could that be? I would say network. Always my number one answer would be build a network around you. It's so important. And why is that? I mean, there's some obvious reasons, but I'm going to go for, first of all, you have a great time, usually. Second of all, you're learning from all the other people that you're meeting. You might find possible collaboration partners. You might find possible suppliers that help you with something where you can outsource something. And we already talked about outsourcing. You will have shoulders to cry on, because once you find your network and you are authentic and everyone in that network as well, and you're on the same level, let's say, then you can be authentic, because the entrepreneurial journey is not always fun and amazing and great. There's things when websites crash. There's things where you launched a product and no one bought anything. There's things when everything goes different. There's pandemics happening. There's things happening, and you need to understand that it's, like they say, a roller coaster ride, and that's really true. Having a supportive network will help you tremendously through those times. And I even made really, some of my best friends came from networking events where I go to, and it also helps you to test ideas. You might have an idea, you want to get some feedback. Maybe you even get a focus group that is testing things. I mean, you kindly found me some testers when I redid all my academy with all the back-end stuff. And we know well enough that things might go wrong that we don't see. And we need other people that click maybe where there's no button and things like that. Because again, what we said is we're in our bubble and we don't see those things. We need other people to do that. You get access.
It's a good point that you've made there, actually, because obviously we run a network business, right? So, and we literally go to our network and they're constantly giving us feedback on how we can better our website, what we need, and we listen to them as well. I mean, the fact we're running a network was from our members. You know, that was never on the cards. So and we were going to networks and people were going, why don't you run a network? You would be able to run a network. Your networks would be amazing. Your networks would be awesome. And that's exactly what it did. So we created an awesome, amazing network, but it was based around the members, which
listening to the members. I mean, listening to the people in your community, I think is really, really important for your business to grow and be sustainable. And I love what you said about a shoulder to cry on, because it is a roller coaster. And I think especially when you're starting out, everyone will come to you and go, you need this, you need that, you need a web, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I need all these things and I don't have any money. I don't know where to start. And then your family, if your family is your support group, they will start saying, well, why don't you just get a job? It just sounds too complicated. So
people are more under a level playing ground.
Yeah.
But look, the show is
like-minded people.
The show is about creating an authentic network. Okay. Now you can go to a million networks and you'll find unauthentic people. Yeah. All right. I can give you a list of one.
Yes.
How can we work with how can we create an authentic network, Christine? I'm really interested on that.
Okay, so one thing is, let's talk about one thing. So someone doesn't want to basically create a community like you did, but wants to create a network around them that they feel comfortable with, and go to authentic networking groups and join authentic networking groups like yours, for example. I think it's a lot of trial and error. It is really, because how do you know? How do you find networking groups? So it might be local ones, in-person ones, might be an online one. So you need to be very clear about where do you want to be for the networking. That's one thing. And then you can find them, you can find groups and test them out. Go to one or two of the events. Like you offer also a free joining the Get Connected, for example, to get to know you and the people and how it works, to see if they like that. So there's also other groups that I won't mention the name now, but that are extremely strict, and where you sit and maybe in a room and you, for 1 hour, you listen to 60-second pitches, and then you have 10 minutes to network, and maybe you have a little bit of breakfast. And they're extremely structured and rigid, let's say, and don't feel too human to me. They work for a lot of people. They don't work for me, for example. But you have to find that out. You have to go there and then see what you want to exclude. So similar to what we said about being yourself, you can find out what you don't stand for, what you don't like. And then once you find a group, like See No Bounds, for example, once I've met you, Charlotte, and again, your values and just you, I knew immediately, okay, I'm going to join. I'm going to join once you restructured everything. There's no question for me not to join as a networker, because I knew I will meet like-minded, authentic people that are not just super polished for social media, but that are real and that offer real value to me, and that I can offer real value to them. And these are the things I think you would need to do. Try out, see what you like, and then build relationships there. So just don't go here and there, one event there, and then, oh, there's a startup event there, and there's value in all of that, but for different reasons. But if you want to build that authentic network, you have to find one, maybe two groups. I mean, you run so many events, there's no reason to actually join another networking group. But in theory, other people might run just one or two events a month. If you enjoy what they're doing and you want to start building real relationships, go as much as you can on a regular basis, because that's the only way you get to know each other. And it's not always just talking about business. You can also talk about holidays, because you get to know the people better. You will know more about them. And it's, for me, going to a networking event, the basis understanding for myself and for that person that goes there is not, how can I sell something today? It's, how can I provide value today? That's the one question I always ask myself when I join a room, when I talk to people, and see what that is.
I love that, because I always say to people about networking, you've got to go with a purpose. And if it's a face-to-face event, don't try and run around like a headless chicken giving your business card to 100 people, but just go there to build, maybe say, meet 5 new people that you've never spoken to. because that will be manageable, and you can actually follow up on that and build the real authentic relationships. I love that.
I'm like just one.
But I think also a good point to say about networking communities is the fact that you've got to try them out to know if it's for you. Yeah. But at the same time, like you mentioned, I think it's worth pointing out, because I see a lot of startups going to all of the, like everything that's free, everything that's the next shiny thing, and they don't actually end up committing to anything. And 6 months in, they say, "Oh, networking doesn't work for me." That's because you got to give it time as well. You got to give your commitment, like you said. What can I give?
You've got to show an authentic self as well. Right? So you can't just go to a network. You've got to be you as well. And we've seen it loads of times. That whole pebble dash and just hope for the best.
Yes, you got to try it. And any good network out there who want authentic members will give you a guest pass, so you can come a few times if it's for you. Definitely.
We even do 3 months as well. But okay, so bringing this back in, because we went off on a bit of a tangent. This is a really soft subject for us, because obviously it's like so close to home for us. So if you were going to look at, and I think there is a big difference, right, which is the point we're trying to make, between networking and authentically networking, right? And I think there is a big difference from that. What would be, if someone was going to go to a network, what would be your top tip around, and I'm gonna come to both of you on this, right? Because I think it's a really important message. What would be your top tip about how to create an authentic relationship within a network? So Christine first, what would you say would be your top tip on how to achieve that?
Be honest and transparent. A lot of times people overpromise and don't deliver because they're too afraid to say, I don't know. So I don't have any issue saying, if someone asks me something and I don't know the answer, I'll say, I don't know. So we can find out together. Or I know someone in my networking group that I can refer to. Be transparent and honest with what you can do, and always deliver on what you promise, or even over deliver if you can.
You just stole my last bit, because mine was going to be follow up. And you kind of mentioned that in the last bit, because
okay, we take it out. I just say the first bit. Just cut it out.
So many people go to networking and they, like I said earlier, running around trying to interact with 100 people. Just make those relationships, knowing that you can follow up. And if you say to the person, I follow up with you next week, do it. Absolutely do it. And that's about honesty as well. So very much in tune there, I think.
And my authentic self is I'm rubbish at it, because I forget what I promise people. That's why Charlotte's there to correct me. But if I was going to give a top tip, I would say be consistent.
Yeah.
Because that shows that you're willing to invest in that person as well as they're investing in you. So there needs to be that mutual investment, and I think you can get that through consistency.
And I think you can be more consistent and more committed if you pay, because there's not that free networking events are not good. I'm just saying, as a person, you commit to something more if you're paying. So don't be afraid to pay to join networking groups.
It will definitely give back, and you get your return on investment for sure. If you're giving that commitment, you'll get the commitment back. So really good point, Christine. Thank you.
So look, we do have to end the show. As always, we have to shut it down. We have to leave. We have to go. And a massive thank you to Christine. If you want to hear more from Christine, don't go anywhere. We will be right back with another show, another subject. And until then, we'll see you shortly. Take care. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello. Welcome back. We've got Christine back in the studio, and we've got a whole brand new subject. So Charlotte, what are we talking about today?
Today is exciting, and don't get scared if you're an entrepreneur just starting out, because Christine makes this easy peasy. So stay with us. Today we're going to talk about how to create marketing strategies. So over to you, Christine. What should we think about when it comes to this subject?
Thank you. Yeah. So first of all, you have to do marketing in your business. You have to, because what it is telling people about what you do, what you offer, and why you're doing things, outlining the benefits for them, as we already said. And if you don't tell anyone that you exist, no one will know and no one will buy anything. Okay. So that's upfront. So you can't get around that. How do you actually create a marketing plan? Now, this is a bit of a long process, but I really would encourage you to go through that, because it helps you to have a plan for an entire year and you feel less stressed and feel less overwhelmed with everything, because you really break it down into something that's manageable for you. So I want you to create a full year marketing plan. And what does that mean? I want you to start brainstorming as if you have all the money, all the resources, and all the time in the world that you would need. If you want to sponsor a sports team, then put that in there, write it down and save that, because who knows, you might be able to do that in the future, but not at the moment. So really brainstorm limitless of everything that you would love to do to get the word out there about who you are and what you're doing. Then I want you to look at it in a realistic way. What can you actually do in the next 12 months? You think that's what I would be able to do in the next 12 months. And then, and this is where it gets really detailed, but really stay with me and do that exercise, because it will help you so much in the future. Think about the marketing activity that you would want to do in the next 30 days. Let's say you want to create a website, and what's involved into a website, you will need to write that down. So for each of these activities that you brainstorm, I want you to write down what's involved creating that. So if you create a website, think about what URL, where do you get that URL? Is that you would probably need to do some research as well if it's still available. Where do you want to host the website? What's going to be on the website? Where do you want to build that website? Is it going to be a WordPress website, or is it custom build, or is it any other of the platforms that are out there? What you need to search for images, text needs to be written, all these things and so much more. So I'm not going to go through all of this, because it will take 10 minutes just to go through all the tasks that are involved in creating a website. But write them all down. Once you've done that, I want you to write next to each of these tasks, how much is it going to cost you in money and time? So if you think, okay, I'm going to have to decide on a URL that I want to use, you probably want to brainstorm a bit and then do some research if it's available. So let's schedule in 2 hours to do that. So I want you to write 2 hours, and then you have to buy that URL, and then I want you to write down actually how much that cost you. And you do that with every single task for every single marketing activity. And this is why I say it's easy, but it's long to do. But it really will help you so much, because what it does is then you think, how many hours a day, a week, can I actually spend on my marketing activities? Okay. And then you say, okay, well, let's say I do 4 hours a week, or let's say 5 hours a week, 1 hour a day, I want to spend on marketing activities that I have to do. Could be more, could be less, whatever is realistic to you. And then you can see, okay, for creating a website, it will take me, this is a fictional number now, 20 hours. It's probably more. Let's say 20 hours just for the calculations now. And it will cost me £150. All fictional numbers here, not really realistic. However, then you know, okay, actually, if I spend 5 hours a week, that means I have 20 hours a month. That means I can get that website done in the first month, but not earlier. And it might take you a bit longer, but not so much longer. And it will cost me that amount of money. And once you do that with everything, you will be able to have a realistic marketing plan that you want to have for your business, because you will know how long things are going to take you, approximately estimated, and how much it's going to cost you. This way also, you know your marketing budget for the year. So, and this is how you can create that. And then I want you to take all of these and slot those into the following slots. What can I do in the next 30 days? What can I do in the next 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months? And then you write this down. You actually divide your marketing plan into this, and you put a date there, because if you write 3 months, you don't know when you started. You put by the 31st of December, this is what I do. And you write all the tasks in there, on what it's going to cost you and stuff. And this way, you have a marketing plan for 1 year, know more or less what's involved and how much it's going to cost you. And that will help you so much with everything that you want to do. You feel less stressed and you have a plan. Be flexible.
Do this with everything, right? So it's not just build a website. I mean, you use that particular example, but you could do that with social media. So
exactly,
the dog wants to get involved in this. She has a point to be made as well. It could be time as a currency, and I think people, when you say, "Oh, what's your marketing budget?" They go, "I don't have one, so I've got no money." Well, how much time are you going to spend? Because that is money, and that is currency. And I've never, the pennies dropped with me on that, because I never thought of it like that.
But you often don't think about your time because you love what you do. That's usually why you start the business in the first place.
Yeah,
it's because you're very good at what you do and you love what you do. So time is kind of irrelevant.
The fact
that you're sitting there from 7 o'clock in the morning till midnight doesn't really matter for you because you love it. But it will take a point in your time, in your life where time will matter. You've got to start valuing your time in currency. And I think that's really, really important to kind of bring out. But I also want to go back to the fact that this sounds, if you're listening in and you are a startup, this may sound long, it may sound complicated, but it really, really isn't. We work with a 30, 60, 90 every 3 months, but we also have, like you said, we put like 31st of October, this has got to be done. And that 30, 60, 90 is so valuable to everything that we do. And just your business will evolve, it will make changes along the way, but you can then evaluate why you made that change. It was because that wasn't working very well, so you made that change because of this, and therefore we now got another deadline, which is this one. But otherwise, if you don't have that, you've got absolutely nothing, and everything would be a mind map, and you get really overwhelmed, and that is how you would burn out eventually, isn't it?
Exactly.
The penny dropped. The penny has literally just dropped. I never ever put them two together, I'll be honest with you.
Yep.
Christine, so look, this principle that you have, I'm assuming this is all stuff that people, because this is a big subject. I mean, we've only got 10 minutes, right? This is a massive subject. You could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and fall into black holes all over the place. How can people, like, if they wanted this knowledge with you and they want to have a conversation with you about this, that would, I think, would be the best, right? I think if you're listening to the show, just book a call with Christine. How can they do that? Is there a way that people can just go on your website and they can find this knowledge, or they can connect with you some way? How can they do that?
Yes, of course. So I do have a lot of free things out there because I'm a big believer in giving back and supporting as many as I can. And even my paid services are extremely affordable, I would say, for solopreneurs. However, if someone would like to have a chat with me, and even maybe to bounce off some ideas, I do have on my creativestartupacademy.com, you can see at the menu resources, or there's actually now a page new here. So if you're new, you can check out everything there, and there you find everything that I offer. There's free things, but also you can book a coaching call. You can apply for a free coaching call with me, for example. But creativestartupacademy.com is where you would go and find everything and contact me from there.
Also got an amazing selection of books, which is obviously on your website as well, but well worth having a look at. And I think because it is a minefield out there, and you've got to find people that you can trust and absolutely trust everything that you do to 100%, Christine. So it's been really insightful.
It has. Look, we do have to end the show, and obviously we also end in the series. So It's been fantastic having Christine on, and there's 4 epic shows. Tesney's well involved, finding out so much about being authentic and around authentic marketing and how you can bring your business to the forefront and it has good, solid ethos and plans. Christine, thank you so much for coming on the show and spending some time with us. And we will see you all again very, very soon. So take care. From us, goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.